Depression Quest was created in 2013 by video game developer and programmer Zoe Quinn. Depression Quest tells an interactive narrative of what it's like for a person living with depression. The quest begins with a beginning slide explaining the rules of the game. It highlights that this game is meant to educate those who do not have depression on the quality of life for those who do. Each slide begins with a scenario, and after choosing an answer or the next step on your path, the slide following is what happened because of the decision you just made. There are multiple paths you can take depending on each of the answers you choose. The steady gray in all of the slides sets the tone for the entirety of the game. Much like the mind of someone struggling with depression, the slides are dark and dull. The pictures on each slide are simple, but still add to the common theme. Things like a beer can are used to represent a slide all about the character debating attending a party or not. The photos add a visual element to the story and allow the audience to get slightly more into the narrative. At the bottom of the screen throughout the game are the words, "You are very depressed. You spend a large amount of time sleeping, hating yourself, and have very little energy or motivation. You are not currently seeing a therapist. You are not currently taking medication for depression." This not-so-subtle footer acts as a reminder to remain in the mindset of one who is depressed. While going through this interactive game, one is forced to constantly enforce self-doubt, much like a person with depression. Depression Quest's main objective is to make the player step into the mindset of someone with depression, or at the very least, exhibit similar feelings. In other words, empathy for a person with depression. However, you make the choices, so it feels as if it is your life that is going on. The feelings that the game evokes are dependent on the outcome of each choice. The quest ends with an epilogue to thank the viewers for following the journey. Also included is a link to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Like depression itself, Depression Quest does not have an end, really. Manovich's principle of variability connects most to this game. Manovich writes, "A new media object is not something fixed once and for all, but something that can exist in different, potentially infinite versions. Depression is experienced differently by every person who suffers from it, and the game leaves the story very open-ended for the player." Manovich connects the variability of new media to the logic of post-industrial society, which values individuality over conformity. New media objects assure users that their choices, and therefore their underlying thoughts and desires, are unique rather than pre-programmed and shared with others. The interactivity of the game allows for the information to be accessible to anyone. All players are free to use their own discretion to navigate throughout the game. Within Empathy, scholar and video game developer Ian Bogost explains the effect on the real world video games can have due to their ability to put us in someone else's shoes. Creator of Depression Quest, Zoe Quinn, used this same sentiment to explain a complex topic that was previously not able to be understood. Although you cannot give someone depression, Depression Quest is a close simulation. It takes explaining a step further and places the player in the shoes, or rather the mindset, of someone suffering with this illness. Quinn's intentions were to do just that, explain to the best of her ability how depression works, and to spread awareness. The interactivity of the game itself makes explaining depression comprehensible to children and adults. Not that a lot of children are going to be playing a quest about living with depression, but you never know.